Hey guys, so it's the 24th of June 2020 and my college friends are going to come around today. I think it's going to be Ollie, Lewis and maybe Jack. We're going to hang out while social distancing. Yeah, I think we're going to celebrate Ollie's birthday because it was on Friday. I'm going to interview them on the virus and we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it because I haven't seen him in 3 months. It's going to be great.
Say something.
Something.
You're very annoying.
Hello, pizza is so good.
What?
So is Budweiser.
Hello. I am Ollie. I am 23 years old.
Hello, I am Lewis. I'm 25 years old.
They talked about their work and how their work has been affected by the lockdown.
So, lockdown has been quite interesting. Essentially, before everything started, I quit my job. So I left there very early on in March and started a new job as a post office clerk in a couple of days later, so still early March. And I've basically been working all the way through lockdown. It's been interesting. There's some stuff I've had to learn really quickly because certain stuff's been really busy, such as returns and urgent mail, whereas other stuff I've not got round to learning yet because at the moment there's no point in selling anyone euros because they're not going across sea. It's quite interesting to see because obviously I don't really know how I can't really compare it to anything pre-lockdown with the job because I've not worked in a time which wasn't lockdown. But compared to how my other job used to be, it's quite interesting to sort of have to keep limits on people, having to kind of keep people. You have to sort of rely on common sense for people, and sometimes that's really easy. Other times, unfortunately, it's not. Yeah, it is a bit. It's a funny time.
So, my job, I am part of Sainsbury's Groceries Online. I'm an online assistant, so I have to deal with preparing customers' orders, making sure it's located to the right van so that the delivery can get out on time. Where I work, it has been in very high demand. More people have been ordering stuff than they have ever done before, which is sort of what I expected it to be because, as we know, online is changing rapidly, so more people have got more of a reason to order stuff. I mean, I think they have bought stuff that they don't really need. It's like at the beginning of lockdown we had this toilet roll issue and it turned out that it wasn't anything to do with COVID, like to do with the toilet rolls. So that was a very mad few weeks to start with. So basically when lockdown started, then online has definitely grown more rapidly than usual. So when I go into work, I just expect it to be a high volume of like shopping items to scan most days. And also like the atmosphere has been very strange. Each time I've gone in, people have been on edge, people have been moody like managers. But the good thing is we've managed to get through the day without any fatal errors as such.
They gave a description of what their day looks like during the lockdown period.
Sort of during the day of lockdown, I would try and it depends on whether I'm working on obviously, with what everything that's happening. So I normally try and, if I'm working, try and get with plenty of time to spare, get changed, trying to get into a bit more of a healthy habits, have some breakfast and stuff like that. And I've tried sort of giving up certain things. I'm trying to drink stuff more like apple juice. If I'm not working, I'm a bit more laid back. I don't normally try and get up that early. I do enjoy a lie-in, but I've then been putting work into a bit more hobbies. I've been doing stuff like trying to work on my own short film, and I'm possibly starting vlogging.
I think, for me, lockdown, I'd like to say I've been quite chilled about it. I've managed to do things on my own. Like I've got into exercise a bit more, like do a few long walks, but also have managed to make my own projects. I've just got into making my own music, which has been very like self-taught really, and doing video editing because that's a big hobby of mine most of the time.
They talk about who they know have the virus and how it's affected their lives.
I've not known anyone personally catch the virus. We've had a case of someone who lives in the road next to me, who I know definitely had it. I did have a couple of times, or we did have a hospital scare where I thought I may have had a couple of symptoms, but they fortunately were nothing to worry about.
Unfortunately, back in May, not so long ago, my great uncle had developed symptoms of the coronavirus, but he was in his mid-90s, bless him. So he had this chest infection, but he only developed a few symptoms of coronavirus, but sadly to say it was inevitable. But he was not going to sort of last long. That doesn't sound too horrible.
They talk about the good things about lockdown and the most frustrating things about lockdown. So in this, Ollie talks about the good things, although Lewis doesn't, but he rounds it up at the end of the interview.
I think there have been good things, because realistically, no, it's been a very odd time, but I'm also very fortunate that I do live with my family. I've been able to still go to work. I've been able to keep in contact with my friends via video chat. It could be far worse for me, and I am very grateful that luckily I am quite fortunate. The most frustrating thing is the people who don't seem to get that there's still stuff going on. Sort of working in a post office, you pass people check envelopes to do up, and instead of using sellotape, you just see them lick it, and that should be disgusting at a normal time. In a time where there is a disease going around from person to person, it's really sort of annoying to see people do that, and it's a big thing I think some people do need to sort of work on.
Such a frustrating thing about lockdown is that some people don't seem to really understand what's going on. I mean, I admit, to start with, I thought it'll just be a phase that will just pass over very quickly, but considering of the way it is now, then it makes you think, God, it's pretty real, and and some people haven't quite got it yet. It's like from where I work, then people haven't quite understood the rules and they've forgotten. But I don't know if that's to do with just by accident, but I think some customers who visit the store, they just seem to ask what is going on, why do we have to queue outside, and probably wait a lot longer at the tills than expected. But that's the way the rules have been placed, so it's basic rule to understand.
They talk about how they thought lockdown was handled by the government.
I don't think our government have done a very good job with the lockdown. I think we're one of the worst hit countries, we're the worst in Europe. We're having government officials break lockdown and get no consequences. We have other stuff being backtracked. They're refusing to treat NHS stuff properly, and we're struggling to get stuff like PPE. Obviously, no government has really had to do list before, and that is fair, but at the same time, there is precautions. People do have to go through training and stuff in case of this. Got stuff like the Cobra meetings. So I think, it could definitely have been done better. Some aspects I think have been quite good. I think stuff like they have been quite good at relaying information. They've made sure that people, I say they do the daily briefing so people know what is going on and stuff like that.
I think that the government has handled lockdown a lot better recently. I think it's good that they've relaxed certain measures, but it's still important to abide by the rules that they have placed by saving lives, staying at home, and only go out if you need to. But the good thing is, I mean, the most distressing thing about lockdown is not being able to see family, relatives who live a lot further away from you, and also close friends of yours. Like, it's not easy being on your own and just with the family you live with, but in another way, it brings your family that you live with closer together, I think, as well. So that's been a very good advantage.
And finally, they talk about how long they thought some form of lockdown was going to carry on for.
We're not at the end of it yet. It's going to be very interesting. I think we will get another lockdown later on, whether it'll be another worldwide one like we had now, or if it's going to be specific countries that are struggling. I mean, hopefully it won't be this bad, but at the second time, it'd be nice to get it under control, learn from the mistakes they made this time, be stricter on anyone who is breaking the lockdown, and sort of make sure we don't have things like people going to the beach again like we had last time. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes on. I think it's very hard for people like us who have no real knowledge of how everything is exactly going on behind the scenes. And stuff like that. But I think really, as long as people keep up with what's going on with social distancing and stuff, even if they do sort of put it down to 1 metre, hopefully we shouldn't be as bad next time.
I think with lockdown now, I think after a good 5 weeks, I'd say that it will start to get back to normal in a way. It will be a slow process, and in fairness, it won't be quite the same for the rest of the year. But as long as people don't abuse the system and the way they're meant to go about doing things, then we can come out of this unscathed.
Hey guys, so it's a few weeks later, and Jack did come in the end, although he told me that he'd rather be interviewed the next time we all met up. So we just hung out and talked that day, and yeah, it was great. And I did interview him about 2 weeks ago, and that'll be in one of my next videos, so check that out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already.